Here with this week's tips is your host, Anita Brown.
Hey there, welcome to Serenity Cupcake Bakery. This week I'm going to be showing you how to use a piping bag and how to professionally frost cupcakes. As you can see, we're ready for Christmas. We just got back from Thanksgiving break, and if you're like most of my family, you're tired of pecan pie and pumpkin pie, and so cupcakes give you a fun dessert to bring to family gatherings, and people of all ages love them. But if you use a knife and just slather frosting on it, it typically doesn't look that great. That's what I'm going to show you. For the sake of time, I've already made our frosting, and it's a basic buttercream frosting recipe here. There are a couple tips that I can give for buttercream frosting to make it just overall better than just what's out of the can. The first one is always use real butter. Never use margarine, because margarine's mostly made up of oil, and so it has a higher melting point, and so you'll end up with runny frosting. The second tip is to always sift your powdered sugar. Whenever you sift it, it breaks up the clumps, breaks up any like big chunks of it, and so it makes it for a smooth frosting. And if you don't sift it, you're going to end up with lumpy frosting, and no one likes lumpy frosting. So, okay, as far as our piping bags, this is just a standard Wilton piping bag. You can get them in all sizes. This is a medium size one, and it's just plastic. You can get washable ones, disposable ones. There are all sorts of different types of piping bags, but these are really easy to just go to the store and pick up off the shelf. They come in a box of, I think, like 24. For the really big ones, it's like a box of 6. So what you want to start doing with it is you want to cut off the tip of the piping bag so you can put your frosting tip in it. Now sometimes whenever you know that you're going to be switching out your frosting tips to use different designs on with the same frosting, you'll use what's called a coupler, and it looks just like this. It's 2 pieces. You fit the tip right here, and you can easily change out tips. But if I know that I'm going to be using just one tip for the same bag of frosting, I don't even mess with the coupler because it's just more stuff to wash. So what you do is you just cut the tip off. I've pre-marked this one, but you want to start with a little bit and then go up according to the size of the tip you have, because some tips are really small, some tips are huge. So you just clip that off, and then what you're going to do is you're going to take your tip. This is a Wilton 1M tip. It's one of the larger ones that they have, so it gives a nice steady flow of frosting, and it makes it look really fluffy and pretty. You just drop it down there and get it down to the bottom. The problem with not using a coupler, if you don't have it secured in, when you push the frosting out, your tip will pop off. So I like to tape just standard masking tape and put a couple pieces around the edging so it will seal it and make sure that it doesn't pop off whenever you are doing your frosting. I've had tips pop off before, and what was supposed to be a white cake with pink borders ended up to be a neon orange cake because the blob of frosting. So to get the frosting in here, the easiest way is to roll the bag down just like this, and you're going to cup your hand right here. You're going to take a scoop of your frosting and just put it down in there. Now you don't want to do too much frosting, because when you squeeze on it, if it's too full, it'll come out of the top, and then you have another big mess. So you just do that for a little bit. So we're going to take a break real quick, and so I'm going to finish getting this piping bag ready, and whenever we get back, we will show you how to finish, how to actually frost it and do some decorations, and I'll show you about doing pressure, the pressure for it, how to properly apply it and keep it from making a huge mess. So be back in a second.
Take your partners by the horn, squeeze it like you've never worn. Good swallows, doing the umpire drop. Grab your partners, dancing on, get some wine and take it on like
Your hands, cupcakes. Hey, welcome back. Okay, right before the break, I was showing y'all how to fill the piping bags. What you're gonna do after you get the frosting actually in there, you're just gonna take whatever hand you write with and slide it down to squish as much frosting down as possible. And then you're gonna twist the piping bag. The twist makes it so frosting doesn't come out of the top and you have frosting everywhere. Use the hand you write with as your pressure hand and then your other hand as your lead hand. And before you start with the frosting, you want to squeeze a bit out just to get out any air. So, okay, to start with the frosting, this, like I said, this is a 1 millimeter tip, standard star tip that you see most bakeries use. So, to do the first cupcake, you're going to put a dab of frosting in the center and then go around either counterclockwise or clockwise. And so, let's see. You just start with a dab in the center, and you want to make sure you keep steady pressure on it, but not too much because then frosting will go everywhere. And then you just come around and keep going up into a tip. And then you want to push down and pull out. So you have a nice little cone-shaped wad of frosting. The next tip that we're going to use, it's a 2D tip, and it is a, 2A tip. And then it's just a round tip. You usually see this with the ball, like they do big balls with it, or like the ice cream cone type shape. You're going to do the same thing with this one, except for it's going to give you a completely different effect on it. So you're going to start, and with these you can control how big you want your tiers. If you want really fat tiers of frosting, you put more pressure on and hold it down longer. If you want smaller tiers, you just go quicker. Okay, so you just do a ball in the center, and then you just come around, and you keep steady pressure the entire time. And then the same thing, you just go down and pull up. So these are just two standard ways to frost cupcakes. There are lots of different ways. On this one, the tip that I use for this one, if you go the reverse way, you can create a rose, you can create all sorts of different things. The fun part with cupcakes is the decorating. And with it being Christmas, you want it to be fun, you want it to be lively. And so there are many different ways that you can frost cupcakes. I went with just a standard vanilla and red velvet cake because I'm going to do candy canes, and it matches with the candy cane theme. But you can pretty much take any cupcake or any dessert that you like and make it into a cupcake. So pumpkin pie, pecan pie, gingerbread. One of my favorites is a gingerbread cupcake with little gingerbread men on top, and it's really adorable. Apple pie, any dessert that you like, you can turn it into a cupcake and have tons of fun decorating. So what we're going to be using to decorate are just some red sprinkles and candy canes here. And so typically with people with sprinkles, they have a tendency to just pour it on, and then, but the problem, if you've made your buttercream frosting correctly, it's going to be a little stiff, so the sprinkles won't stick to it. And so you kind of have to work with it, sprinkle and twist, and to get it to have the same effect. So you just sprinkle some on, and you can put how much ever on you like. And then the same with this one. You just sprinkle some on. You can put a lot of it, you can put a little, you can use huge sprinkles, pearls, whatever you find to be pretty. And then you just take your little cupcake. We can do one like this there, and then you can stick one out kind of like this. So there are standard Christmas cupcakes. So if you want to get today's tips and you want to maybe get the pictures of these and pick up some recipes, get the buttercream frosting recipe, you can check out our website. It's www.serenitycupcakes.com. We always upload tips, and so we will see you next week. Thank you.